Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and Superstar spoilers and some other news going around the world. And here we go with the program. WWE star Randy Orton spoke with Matt Fowler of IGN regarding next week's release of 12 Rounds 2 Reloaded, and was also asked about Curtis Axel. And he quoted by saying, Curtis Axel is a third generation too, as Orton said, and so I think there's been a lot of pressure on Joe Hennig, just being the son of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I mean, how can there not be a lot of pressure? No disrespect to my father, but Mr. Perfect was around a little more and maybe had more of a following, so people might be more aware of who his father was, and because of that, I think he has a lot more to live up to. And with the whole Michael McGillicuddy thing, that was just career suicide. But he made it through that, and I think anyone who can make it through having a name like McGillicuddy for however many years he had it is a survivor. The fact that he made it through shows, that shows you that the kid's got some staying power. And now with Paul Heyman in his back pocket, he's golden. Give him a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and he'll make a big impact. Read the full interview at IGN.com/articles/5/31-Randy-Orton's-12-Terror. Orton also spoke about Bray Wyatt being called up to the active roster. Most of the interview focused on the movie, including the differences between his character and the one that John Cena played in the first movie. And the dark main event for tonight's Raw television show was listed as John Cena versus Ryback for the WWE Championship. And what was likely the most participated in poll to date, 53% of the .net voters predicted that Curtis Axel will be a flop, while 47% predicted that he will be a star for WWE. Less than 400 votes separated the two, and it was actually split down the middle during the first day or two of the voting. 54% of the .net poll voters felt that Jeff Jarrett should have been a second member of the TNA Hall of Fame. AJ Styles received 13% of the vote, and Kurt Angle, who was the second member, received 9% of the vote. The rest of the candidates accounted for 21% of the vote. TNA wrestler AJ Styles, a.k.a. Alan Neil Jones, turned 36 on Sunday. He was born June the 2nd, 1977. Former TNA Knockout champion Velvet Sky, a.k.a. Jamie Zanter, turned 32 on Sunday. She was born June 2nd, 1981. Retired pro wrestler Lex Luger, a.k.a. Larry Fole, turned 55 on Sunday. He was born June 2nd, 1958. James Storm, also from TNA, a.k.a. James Allen Cox, turned 36 on Saturday. He was born June 1st, 1977. The third video has been released on YouTube promoting a raffle for The Undertaker's West Coast Chopper to benefit Spur Compassion Ministries and America's Mighty Warriors. The cost to enter the raffle, which will be drawn on June the 16th, is only $10. And that's by SpurRaffle.com. In the newly released video, the WWE superstar refers to himself by his real name, Mark Calloway. Though his WWE character name is not acknowledged for legal reasons, it does not prevent him from making puns and references to it. Meanwhile, Michelle Cool, who has recently broke her silence on her marriage to The Undertaker, in a taped interview that will be hitting YouTube this summer, promoted the auction this afternoon by Twitter. Fandango appeared on the Bauer Show on 97.9 ESPN in Hartford, Connecticut this morning, promoting tonight's Raw at the XL Center as he discussed his character and how he plans on reinventing it, plus more. The 14-year veteran reveals advice he has received and relays a great Vince McMahon story. And you can go to lordsofpain.net /news /WWE /Will _H _appear _on _raw _tonight _fandango discusses his character Bella _twins on _TV .html. There were no pro wrestling shows listed for ESPN Classic tonight. The Classic AWA show will return tomorrow night on Tuesday, and we'll have the listings in tomorrow night's video as well. Zach Zimmerman and .NET reader Matthew Blimes were at the Raw event in Hartford, Connecticut, and sent the following report on Superstars taping. First match, Tons of Funk defeated Primo and Epico in a mediocre match. The baby faces hit Tensai, New Japan finisher, the Magic Killer, followed by a running senton for the win. Match number 2, Natalya defeated Tamina Snuka. Natalya won by submission with the sharpshooter. Oh, they're actually giving her some wins lately. And now for Raw on the USA Network. I aired live from Hartford, Connecticut, from the XL Center. A video recapping John Cena setting up his 3 Stages of Hell match for WWE Payback, and Triple H experiencing head trauma issues during his last match against Curtis Axel. Michael Coleslaw checked in and hyped Triple H versus Curtis Axel. Coleslaw was on commentary, as well as JBL and Jerry King Lawler. Ring announcer Justin Roberts introduces Stephanie McMahon, who headed to the ring for a promo. I missed this much of it because I came home about. I got off work at 7 o'clock. It takes about 15-20 minutes to drive home, so I caught it right in its first match. Coleslaw said it's been nearly a year since Stephanie last appeared on TV. Once in the ring, Stephanie said it felt great to be back on Raw. She said she wished it was under better circumstances. Stephanie recalled Triple H's steel cage match against Brock Lesnar, and then his match against Axel the next night. My husband wasn't even able to finish the match, Steph said. Even though Triple H has been medically cleared to compete tonight, I've made a medical decision to not allow Triple H to compete. The fans booed. Stephanie said she made the decision as an executive, a wife, and a mother. She told the fans to try not to be selfish. Then Vince McMahon's music played. No chance. That's what we've got. And it played to him coming out to a big roar from the live crowd. Vince did the BMF walk. More like a bushwhacker walk. The power walk to the ring and gave Stephanie a brief hug once they arrived in the ring. Stephanie made the executive decision to put Hunter's balls in her purse. Anyways, that is a big start for the JR reference in his blog today. It was a wise move considering the WWE has stiff competition in the form of the NBA playoffs tonight. It seems like you're happy to see me, Vince said. I'm happy to see you as well. Vince asked the fans not to boo his daughter, which drew more boos, and Vince and Stephanie said that they care more about Triple H than the fans do. Vince noted that Hunter is the father of his grandchildren. He said Triple H would not compete. The fans chanted for Triple H. Vince asked if the fans wanted his heart, liver, and soul. What the hell do you want? What the hell do you want, that man? Vince asked. WWE is family entertainment. It's not a blood sport. Let me just state this for the record. Kofi Kingston last week was put through a table. What did you chant? One more time. Put through another table. What did you chant? One more time. Vince said that there's not going to be one more time for Triple H tonight or any other night. Vince echoed Stephanie's comments by saying Curtis Axel is beneath Triple H, just as the fans are. And the Shield's music hit, and they entered through the crowd. JBL yelled on commentary for Vince and Stephanie to get out of the ring as they go to commercial. Wow, nice to see WWE coming out swinging as they go head-to-head with the NBA game tonight. The Shield coming out was a great hook heading into the commercial break. After the break, the Shield were standing in the ring. Coleslaw said if their viewers had the WWE app, they would have seen that Vince and Stephanie McMahon left the ring without incident. Gee, what a ring endorsement for the app. For that matter, what an anticlimactic return for a commercial break. From a commercial break. Weak. The Shield versus Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Kane in a six-man tag. App users were able to watch tons of fun. Watch the match on the backstage monitor. When they went back to break, 3 minutes into the match, while Seth Rollins was getting the better of Kane, after the break, Shield continued to work over Kane in their corner of the ring. Orton took a hot tag and had a good flurry of offense that included a double hanging DDT and Dean Ambrose and Rollins. Live crowd was very hot for Orton and went for the hanging DDT on Roman Reigns, but Rollins caught him from behind with a kick to the back. Shield spent the next few minutes working over Orton. Bryan fired up the crowd by clapping in his corner, and they responded with a yes chant. Rollins tagged in and went for a top rope move, but Orton caught him with a drop kick on the way down. Orton made a hot tag to Bryan, who went on his big flurry, which included a series of kicks to the chest and to the head of Ambrose. Bryan caught Rollins on the ropes and performed a hurricanrana that sent Rollins onto Ambrose. Bryan performed a suicide dive onto Reigns at ringside, then performed a missile dropkick on Ambrose for a good 2 count that the live crowd ate up and went along with. Bryan applied his finisher, but it was broken up. Orton put Rollins down with an RKO. He went for the same on Reigns, but Reigns pushed him off. Orton collided with Bryan. Ambrose performed his finisher on Bryan and got the 3 count. The announcers played up the unfortunate circumstances that led to Bryan losing, and Bryan shook his head in frustration afterwards. The Shield defeated Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan and Kane in 17 minutes 15 seconds. After the match, well, later on, okay. The announcers hyped Alberto Del Rio versus Big E Langston in the 5th match of their series. Plus, the contract signing for CM Punk and Chris Jericho's payback match will be held. Lawler questions whether Punk will be ready for the match and said, "We will find out tonight," as they go to commercial. Very decent action from the midpoint on. Orton got a massive pop when he tagged in. Bryan didn't get the immediate pop when he took the hot tag, but he worked the crowd up with his offensive flurry. Bryan has been getting the mega reactions lately, but when they absolutely go nuts for Orton there. Oh, and Kane wrestled too. I did Kane, but his partners in this match are more over than he is these days. He even had a better one of his best promos later on in the evening. The graphic boasted that SmackDown was the most socially active show on cable and broadcast television. But this is not SmackDown, this is Raw. Backstage, Bryan was upset because Orton collided with him. Orton said he was sorry and told him that anything can happen in the ring. He told Bryan to drop it. Bryan said he knew Kane felt that he was the weak link, and now it's clear that Orton feels the same. Bryan said Orton can't apologize to him because it's his fault they lost. Kane told Bryan that they do respect Bryan, but he's lost touch with reality. Bryan said that the reality is that he is the weak link. Bryan started yelling about one match to solidify that he's the weak link and said that that didn't happen. Bryan said he's going to have another match and beat the respect out of someone else so that Kane and Orton can respect him. The shot aired of Triple H arriving at the building. He entered a room where Vince and Stephanie were already located and asked them what was going on. Hunter said he is wrestling Kurt Axel. Stephanie said, "No, he's not." She said it was 2 weeks ago that she was on the phone with his mother and said their children were crying. Triple H said that he was cleared to wrestle and he would wrestle later in the show. Vince stepped up and asked what happened to the cerebral assassin. He told him to keep up his ego, keep his ego out of it. Triple H said he was going to the ring to wrestle Axel. "No, you're not," Vince said. Triple H asked who would stop him. Well, then then we had a hesitant. Vince told Hunter not to do something he would regret and some rolled up papers on his shoulder. Hunter took the rolled up papers and Vince left the room. Next up we have the Usos making their entrance, complete with the war dance on the stage. And they're finally getting the push I've been wanting them to get. Of course, I noted that they were wearing makeup as well, face paint. Very similar to Alpha and Sika, the Islanders in the early WWF days. He said that they would explain it all after the break. There's a commercial. Who knew that all three Triple H's in Triple H actually stand for henpecked? Is it just me, or did the Usos pre-match chanting sound like a little like a Beastie Boys song for a second there? So we get match number 2, the Usos versus the Primetime Players. We're not making millions of dollars. We're not making millions of dollars. The match was joined already in progress on TV. Coleslaw said that a win for either team would perhaps put them in the line for the tag team title shot. The Usos each have one side of the face painted. Coleslaw said the Usos explained on the app that the face paint gives them an edge and is sort of a rebirth. The crowd was quiet as Titus locked in an awkward chin lock on one of the Usos. One of the Usos took the hot tag and worked over Darren Young. In the end, one of the Usos performed the top rope splash splash on Young for the win. So the Usos defeated Primetime Players. Split screen shots aired of Biggie Langston and AJ Lee on one side, and Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez and a stupid bucket on the other. And then they got a commercial break. Wait, the Usos did how many jobs before they decided to give themselves a rebirth by painting half their faces? A video noted that WWE is proud to be founding partners for the Special Olympic Games in 2014. The event will be held in New Jersey. Coleslaw said that there were special guests in attendance, and they showed some of the Special Olympians or the special kids. And the camera showed a group of special athletes at ringside. So, there you go. Ricardo came out with a stupid bucket and introduced Del Rio. Do me a favor, y'all fans. See how long I did my impression of Alberto's name versus Ricardo's. Let's see if I outlasted him. As I commented on his Facebook account, Ricardo's like, yeah, I can do it a little bit longer than you can. Okay, so we get Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez and the stupid bucket versus Biggie Langston with AJ Lee. Coleslaw once again said that this wasn't the rubber match between the two men, just as he did when they worked the third match of their never-ending series. Coleslaw claimed that Dolph Ziggler was not in attendance. Rather, he said that they knew Dolph was watching at home due to the exclusive interview he gave to the WWE app. Langston showed off his strength early with a trio of backbreakers on Del Rio for a 2 count. Footage aired of Zeb Coulter cutting a promo for the app. I don't know if you guys know this, but WWE has an app. Del Rio applied the cross-arm breaker. Langston picked him up and placed him over the top rope. Still holding the arm breaker on, Del Rio kept the hold applied, but had to break when the referee got to count of 4. Del Rio was able to reapply the hold again and then shifted into a pin for the win. And the match only took 4 minutes and 55 seconds. A shot aired of a smiling Sheamus walking backstage. Lawler said Sheamus would face Cody Rhodes after the break as they go to commercial. I like to finish with Del Rio releasing his submission hold to catch Langston in a pin. The announcers played it up like they weren't sure that Langston's shoulder was even down, though that there was nothing about the way he was pinned that left it in question. Coleslaw said even he appeared to be pinned at least from the camera's angle, and they used for the replay. Are they protecting Langston or setting up yet another match between the two? I would have enjoyed this more had they told us that this was a best of 7 series from the start. It worked tonight, though, as those are words that they don't want to use considering the big NBA game tonight. Highlights aired from SmackDown of Sheamus beating up Damien Sandow. Ring answer says for the next match took place. Sheamus versus Cody Rhodes and his mustache. Damien Sandow sat in on commentary and showed off that he was reading Fate of the State, the book which was written by JBL's wife. Cody got some offense around 2 minutes when he caught Sheamus with a knee to the head at ringside. Cole tossed question what was up with the Rhodes collars and facial hair. Just imagine if Coleslaw worked for TNA. Sheamus started his comeback around 3 minutes 15 seconds. He performed a running senton and then went to the top rope and came off with a shoulder block. Sheamus went for a white noise, but Cody rolled him up and held the tights for a 2 count and just barely held the tights. Or at least he acted like it. I didn't see the actual tights grab, but he was like right there at him. Sheamus missed the bro kick, which led to a 2 count for Cody that the crowd didn't take very seriously. And Cody went for his finisher, but Sheamus rolled out of it. So I guess Cody kind of slipped on his mustache on his way down. Moments later, Cody missed a moonsault, and then Sheamus performed white noise. Sheamus waited for Cody and his mustache to get up so he wouldn't step on it and put him away with the bro kick. Coleslaw said, it was shades of Friday night and every other night this matchup takes place. After the match, Sheamus headed over to Sandow, who told him that no one wants to see him and he should go. But he offered to shake his hand several times, but Sandow slapped it away twice. Sheamus came back with a slap to Sandow's head and knocked him down like he was Curtis Axel taking a Triple H slap. Sheamus won the match in 5 minutes 20 seconds. The announcers hyped the Jericho versus Punk contract signing for later on the show. And they go to commercial. And then they come back and add air during the break for the Total Diva show that debuts on E! in July. That's a great message for the Special Olympic athletes that are in attendance. If your fellow competitors won't shake hands, feel free to give them a big old bitch slap just like Uncle Sheamus. By the way, Paul Heyman was shown in the graphic for the contract signing rather than Punk. Well, he should have been shown in the audience because I think he's a special kid too. The graphic noted that the WWE app has been downloaded 6 million times. It did not mention that the ProWrestling.net app, which is free wherever you get your apps. I promise I won't mention again tonight. And don't forget, Hurricane also has an app. You can find him on Facebook and Twitter. Ask him for his app, where you can download it. Backstage, Triple Impact, Triple H threw his bags in the trunk of his car and told Stephanie that he was leaving for her, and so that he didn't have to kick their kid's grandfather. Hunter told her to tell that crazy old man that he would be wrestling Curtis Axel on Raw next week. Phil from Modern Family would have put up a better fight than Hunter just did. The announcers recapped Ryback beating the hell out of Kofi Kingston from SmackDown. Coleslaw said Kingston underwent elbow surgery on Thursday and expected to miss a couple of months. Backstage segment, Daniel Bryan kicked over a cart. Ryback showed up and told him to watch what he's doing. Bryan asked if he was going to put him through 3 tables like Kingston. Ryback said Kofi had surgery because of him. Ryback said he had the flu last year and his throw-up is bigger than Bryan. Ryback then challenged Bryan to get in the ring with him. Bryan told him to don't underestimate him and see what happens. Ryback said that Bryan is the weak link and will become the missing link after their match. Bryan is going to shave off most of his hair and paint his face green. Oh no, not that missing link. Anyways, Ryback's delivery was really annoying here. He's trying to he's trying to sound tough, and instead it sounds like he's a robot. Backstage segment with Vince McMahon shaking Curtis Axel's hand and told him that he is a hell of a future ahead of him. He even said it was too bad that they won't be having that match at Triple H once next week. Heyman tried to walk off with Axel, but Vince told him that Axel would be in action against John Cena later in the show. Vince said that the match would be a no DQ match this time around. Fandango and Summer Rae were shown walking backstage as they go to commercial. Shouldn't it be a no count out match since that's how Cena's lost last week? I guess this opens the door for Ryback to attack Cena to help give Axel a win. And yep. Cole saw hype Miz TV with Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Kane as a special guest for Friday Night SmackDown. If I'm not mistaken, I think they had that last week. Cole said that Curtis Axel would also appear on SmackDown. So we get Fandango with Summer Rae versus Great Khali with Natalya Hornswoggle. Khali chopped Fandango and then mocked the way he dances. Khali remained in control, but Fandango left the ring. Once Khali went for his finisher and Fandango headed towards the back. Well, this match I didn't even care about, but The Miz came out and blocked his path. Wade Barrett came out and hit Miz with the bullhammer elbow. Fandango and Summer Rae were headed backstage when the show went to commercial break. And I think I took a bathroom break myself. Great Khali defeated Fandango by an apparent count out. Yeah, I think I did come back in from the bathroom and seen the finish. An ad airing for SmackDown focus on Daniel Bryan. Match number 5, Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett versus The Miz in a non-title match. Wait, if I'm not mistaken, they did say this was a title match. The announcers recap footage of Wade Barrett hitting The Miz with his finisher on the stage. Barrett avoided the figure 4 and then he hit the Winds of Change for a 2 count. Fandango's music played and he danced out on stage with Summer Rae, which distracted Barrett. Miz put Barrett in a figure 4 and got the submission win. The match only took 3 minutes 20 seconds. I was thinking that Miz won the championship. But they didn't do any congratulations or celebrations, so I guess it was non-title. Then the announcers hyping the Punk vs. Jericho contract signing for after the break as they go to commercial. So Barrett attacking The Miz, who was blocking Fandango from heading backstage, only to have Fandango come out and distract Barrett so that Miz could win. Well, that makes about as much sense as WWE having all this go down while the NBA game is at halftime. A recap was shown of Stephanie McMahon's promo at the beginning of the show. We also recapped Triple H and Vince McMahon bickering backstage, and then showed footage of Triple H leaving the building. Major props to the fan holding up the "We Want 2 Hours" sign in the crowd. Jerry Lawler stood in the ring where a table and chairs was set up for the contract signing. Y2J was introduced first. Paul Heyman was introduced next and walked quickly to the ring with no music. Both men took their seats at the table. Heyman said that they could have signed the contract backstage. Heyman said that since he was there to feed Jericho's massive ego, he would just say something to his face. He started to run through CM Punk's highlights, but Jericho cut him off and read through them himself and added some over-the-top lines at the end. I don't give a damn about any of those things, Mr. Walrus, as Jericho said. I only care about you delivering CM Punk to Chicago on June 16th. Heyman signed the contract and said it was signed, sealed, and delivered. Your turn, Mr. Jericho, as Heyman said. Jericho was about to sign the contract when Heyman stopped him and asked Jericho if he's truly ready to face Punk in Chicago. He noted that the building Hartford was filled with Jerichoholics. That won't be the same case in Chicago. Heyman said Jericho is going to be facing a partisan biased crowd in a town where Punk can do no wrong. Heyman said Punk makes liars out of people who think they can lay claim to the title of being best in the world. Jericho looked like he was thinking about what Heyman said. You know, Paul, you might be right. CM Punk is from Chicago, and CM Punk is in Chicago. So maybe we should have this match at SummerSlam in Los Angeles, said Jericho. Heyman declined. Jericho suggested Madison Square Garden. Heyman declined, but he did say interesting, since it would be ratings and more money. And then Jericho said, how about right here in Hartford? And the crowd went wild. Heyman again declined and said the crowd went from cheers to boos just like that. Well, I guess we'll have to have it in Chicago then, Jericho said before signing the contract. Jericho said that when you act like a jackass, you get treated like a jackass no matter where you are from. Jericho grabbed the contract and then said, now they have to figure out where to file it. Okay, Jericho stood in front of Heyman and said he has a good idea where the contract belongs. He told Heyman to stand up. Jericho told Heyman to go unbutton his jacket and threatened to rip it off if he didn't. Jericho rolled up the contract and shoved it down the front of Heyman's pants. See you in Chicago, Jericho said. Okay. The whole thing was rather forgettable and the ending was flat. They did establish that the match will be held in Punk's hometown of Chicago, and it should ease fans' concerns that Punk would be replaced by Curtis Axel in the match. A Heyman-produced Punk highlight video would have been a better teaser for Punk's return than this was. A featured match for WWE main event is listed as Sheamus versus Antonio Cesaro. Keep in mind that they changed the featured match on the day of the show 2 weeks in a row. Match number 6, AJ Lee and the Bella Twins versus Caitlyn, Cameron, and Naomi, the Funkadactyls. Coleslaw said that the Secret Mirror thing has created some friction between Caitlyn and her tag partners in this match. Naomi performed a nice drop kick on one of the Bella Twins. Later, where the other Bella Twin was knocked off the apron, the other tried to tag in Lee, who abandoned her. Caitlyn speared the remaining Bella and pinned her. No one cared, as it's a Divas match, and it only lasted 4 minutes 30 seconds. The announcers hyped Daniel Bryan versus Ryback. As they go to commercial, backstage, Kane told Daniel Bryan that facing Ryback was crazy. He said he's never seen someone's heart, desire, or will to fight. He said Bryan doesn't have anything to prove to him, or anything else. Bryan shook his head and said, Kane is wrong. Bryan said that beating Ryback will prove it, and he would prove it without Kane. Bryan yelled as he told Kane he doesn't want him anymore. Anywhere near him tonight, Kane said he was leaving. He told Bryan to call him when he finds his mind, since he obviously has lost it. That was the best promo he has ever given to me. Wow. That was a poorly written material, but a damn good promo from Kane. The announcer set up the latest Wyatt family video package, and Wyatt had a couple more followers, and a female sprawled out on a tree branch. Daniel Bryan made his entrance as they go to commercial. I couldn't make out who the new additions were. And I may go to the video footage and the replay, since WWE sometimes does. They may have been extras rather than wrestlers. I'm sure we'll find out if anyone noticeable was in there, given the way some of our more passionate readers go over these types of videos as if they were Zapruder, the Zapruder film. Get on it. Okay, Ryback was back to the building in an ambulance for his pre-match entrance. And now to discuss the 3 stages of hell match. So we get Ryback versus DB, Daniel Bryan. Ryback dominated early. Bryan caught him with a half crab, which got a rise out of the crowd. Bryan continued to work over Ryback's legs with a standing leg lock. He dropped and fired bunches at Ryback. Moments later, Ryback caught Bryan with a clothesline that knocked him to ringside. As he got a commercial, after the break, Ryback remained in control with slow-paced offense. He talked smack in Bryan's face before throwing him across the ring. Ryback charged at Bryan in the corner. Bryan moved and Ryback crashed into the post. The crowd fired up as Bryan caught Ryback with 3 drop kicks and got a 2 count. There was no mention of the app during this match. Bryan followed up with a missile drop kick. They went back to the top rope and performed a long distance top rope headbutt for a really good near fall that the live crowd just chanted along with. Bryan slapped himself across the face and then fired kicks at Ryback. Ryback then caught Bryan's leg on one kick and then slammed him down with a powerbomb. Ryback acted dazed, but then got real cocky as he recovered. He walked over to Bryan and only to be caught in the crossface. Bryan wrenched on the hold and the crowd popped huge, but Ryback reached the ropes to break it up. Bryan went for a suicide dive, but Ryback stepped aside and he helped propel Bryan into the announcer's table. Ryback picked him up and drove him back first into the ring post. Ryback rolled Bryan back inside the ring and looked into the camera. Ryback went to ringside and set a table inside the ring. Ryback set up the table inside the ring and then powerbombed Bryan through it for the disqualification. Coleslaw said that Ryback didn't care about the outcome of the match because he was more concerned with sending a message to Cena. Daniel Bryan won the match in 15 minutes even by disqualification. After the match, Ryback went to ringside and grabbed another table. John Cena's music played and he ran out. Cena stood in the ring with his WWE Championship and hovered over Bryan. To protect him, Ryback got back on the ring apron and put one foot inside the ring. And then Curtis Axel's music played and he headed to the ring with Paul Heyman. Ryback back down the ringside as Cena glared at him intensely, still holding a chair. The trainer tended to Bryan as Axel Heyman waited at ringside, heading into the break. As they went to the commercial, a very entertaining match. Bryan's character showed great heart, and Bryan looked like a monster while on the offense, and even while holding on during some of the submission holds. It may seem odd for the monster heel to have such a competitive match heading into his pay-per-view title match, but both men came out of that looking good. Cena also looked good by making the save, and it was good to see him show intensity while standing above Ryback and staring at him the entire time. Well, we get to match number 8, John Cena versus Curtis Axel in a no DQ title match. Heyman tripped Cena as he was running the ropes within the opening minute. The announcers noted that it was legal given the stipulation. Axel grabbed the early advantage and called for Heyman to grab him a chair. Heyman complied and Axel swung the chair, but Cena blocked it. Cena ended up with the chair and slammed it over Axel's back and then dumped him to ringside. Cena followed up and threw Axel over the announcer's table. Cena stripped the table down, but then threw Axel back inside the ring. Once the referee's count reached 8 count, Axel was waiting with the chair to see his gut. Both men stood in the ring and Axel had the chair in his hand. We found out why Axel didn't play Major League Baseball, as he swung and missed a couple times and then had the chair drop kicked into his face. Cena set up the chair in between the ropes in the corner. Well, that didn't take long. .NET reader Michael and .NET staffer Zim noted that the footage from the Wyatt family video was the same NXT promo video that they have used in the past. Michael noted that a few were Full Sail University students. NXT for you. Zim noted that one is Garrett Dillon, but he's doing his own thing in developmental and is unlikely to be a part of that faction. As they go past the 10 o'clock hour, later Axel was in control of the offense when he went to ringside and grabbed the chair, which he slammed over Cena's back several times and then jabbed it into Cena's gut. Again, JBL raved about the statement that Axel was making in this match. Axel followed up by by a fast breaker onto the chair, which drew gasps from the crowd, yet only got Axel a 2 count. Cena came back with the SCF. Axel cried out to Heyman as he struggled to get to the ropes. Heyman handed him a notebook computer, which Axel slammed over Cena's head to make him break the hold. They went to ringside, where Cena got Axel up for the Attitude Adjustment. What were they thinking? They was going to bring back the anonymous general manager? Via computer. Well, when he got him up for the Attitude Adjustment, but Heyman stood in front of the table that Cena wanted to put him through. Cena released the hold and went after Heyman. Cena saw Axel coming from behind and got the better of him. Ryback came out, roughed up Cena, and drove him through the table that was leaning on the ringside barricade. Ryback stood over the fallen Cena while the referee made a 10 count. So he wins another match by count out. After the match, Ryback told Cena to get up. At Payback, Ryback rules. Ryback said to close the show, as it only went 5 minutes past the hour. Curtis Axel defeated John Cena by count out. 13-minute match. A strong last 35 minutes of the show with Daniel Bryan versus Ryback match, followed by the main event. This was the best showing yet for Axel, who impressed the live crowd with a few times with his offense move. Ryback interfering at the end was so predictable, yet also the right move. Though I was actually hoping that Axel might get a cheap pin on Cena rather than the count out. Ryback took a step back with his mic work, but he and Bryan had a hell of a match. Combine that with the match with the footage of the destruction of Kofi Kingston, and he looks like a major league badass. Overall, this was one of the better booked shows. The show got off to a good start with an unexpected McMahon family presence, followed by the latest entertaining Shield match, and then closed with the strong 35 minutes. Bad news is that the most of the stuff in between was forgettable. And the dark match. Credit goes to William Brown and PW Insider. After all went off the air, John Cena made a comeback on Ryback and put him through a table. Cena then did a promo putting over the Special Olympians who were at ringside and asked everyone to have a safe ride home. And that ends my video for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless.